Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. In today's video, we are going to be using our Cricut Joy Xtra and we're going to use some printable HTV for darks and we're going to create this really fun shirt. Using your Joy Xtra to do printable products is fantastic. I love how small it is and how easy it is to work with. Now I'm going to link everything that we're using down below. That way you can find anything that you need so that you too can create really cool stuff with your Cricut Joy Xtra. If you have any questions, let me know in those comments down below. And before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed here. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be using this really cute angry turkey that says eat pizza for our printable HTV with our Cricut Joy Xtra. So what we're going to do is download our image by clicking download, and then it's going to open up a folder and ask me where I'd like to save it. So I'm going to save it into my YouTube folder. I'm going to make a folder for this one and I'm going to call it Joy Xtra PTC. That way I know what it is, and I'm going to save that image into that folder. Now, we do have to make sure that we extract our folder by opening up the folder we just downloaded, and then you want to click Extract All. Make sure that Show Extracted Files when complete is selected and click Extract. It's going to open up your folder. You have two files. You have an EPS file or a PNG. I'm never going to use the EPS, so I'm just going to delete it right off the bat. And I'm also going to go back into this folder, and I want to delete the zipped folder here. That way I don't have to deal with it. It saves some space on my computer. Now we're going to head over to Design Space and we're going to upload this. In Design Space, we just click on Upload and then you just click Upload Image right here, and you can either browse for it or drag and drop it. I'm going to drag and drop my file over into Design Space, and it should take a second to load because they are pretty high quality files. Then all we have to simply do is click Continue. And because this is a transparent PNG, we don't have to do anything on this page. You'll see that checkered background directly behind the image once it loads. Once your image is loaded, just click Apply and Continue. And for this one, we want to choose Flat Graphic, which is used for print then cut. Click Continue. Now this is where we can add a name to it. We can add any keywords that we want to help us search for it. So I'm going to call it Turkey Eat Pizza. And I'm just going to click Upload. Now this will put it directly into our Cricut canvas here so that we're able to work with it and resize it. Because this is a high quality PNG, it does usually tend to come in pretty big. So I'm going to go ahead and size this down. Now, because this is print and cut, you can actually allow this to auto resize your image. So we're just going to click on auto resize and you'll see that it'll size it so that it fits within our printable area for our piece of printable HTV. Now I'm going to show you a couple things you need to check before you get settled with your printable HTV. First, I want you to go under your settings and I want you to check your load type. I want you to make sure that you have the correct size for the printable HTV that you're using. I'm using an 8.5 by 11 size, so this should be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and click Done. And then all I want to do is just make sure there are no transparent areas in our design here that maybe it might want to cut. And a quick and easy way that I can do that is I can either change the blank canvas color just to something that will stand out inside the turkey. So you can see, you'll see any blue in between anything, that would mean it would cut out. Or another option that you can do, let me turn this back to white, is if you take your design and change it from print and cut to a basic cut, you'll be able to see if there are any holes or transparent areas within the design. There's not, so I'm just going to go ahead and change it back to print and cut. That's simple as that. That's all we need to do. Now we're going to be using printable HTV for darks, meaning we will not have to mirror our design. If you use a printable HTV for lights, those 9 times out of 10 are going to require you to mirror your image. So you'll want to read the directions on whichever product you're using to make sure that you're using it correctly. So just be aware of that. So now I'm happy with this. I think we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and save my design. We're going to call it Eat Pizza Turkey. Save. And then I need to make sure that I change my machine to the correct machine. I currently have my maker selected, but I'm doing this with my Cricut Joy Xtra. So I just need to make sure I change my machine. That way it will connect and be able to print and cut with the correct machine. Now all I need to do is click Make. And from here, I'm going to show you how to make sure that you get the best print and cut settings with your project. I'm going to go ahead and click continue from here, and I want to click where it says send to printer. Now for this, it's not going to send it directly to your printer. It's going to bring up some options. The first thing we want to do is make sure we have our inkjet printer selected, which I use my ET2720. I only want one copy of this, and for this, I am going to leave the bleed on. What bleed does is it pushes out the color from the edges of your design just a little bit. That way, if your Cricut cuts slightly off, you won't notice any white area around your design. Because this design has a nice black outline, I'm going to leave the bleed on just in case we get any white edges. Then I want to turn on my system dialog. This is going to allow me to change some preferences in my printer to make sure I get a really good quality print. From here, all I have to do is select the word print, and we're going to give it just a second here to open up those preferences. Once it's opened your printer preferences, make sure the correct printer is selected, and you're going to choose this preferences option right here. The next thing I want to do is I always check my document size and the orientation of my paper. Then for this, your printer paper type, it's going to depend on your printer and what products you're using. But for this, I do find that using the premium or the presentation paper matte is the way to go. And then I change my standard my quality from standard to high, making sure that color is selected. I change one more setting under more options, and I change it to turn off the high speed print. Yours may say biodirectional printing. That's basically the same thing. So you'll want to turn that off and then click OK. Then you can click print to send it to your printer. We're ready to load the Cricut Joy Xtra, so I'm going to put our Printable HTV onto our standard grip mat. And just like with the other Cricuts, this mat can go in either direction. You just want to make sure it's lined up, well held down. And then with this machine, there are no buttons, so it has a sensor that will know when you place this in under the little divots here. So you're just going to put that in, and then see, it'll take it in by itself. Then we have to go over to our computer and select our cut setting. For this one, I'm using the Printable Iron-On for Darks setting. I'm actually going to remove the backing of the paper, so this extra piece here, before I remove the main piece. So I'm just going to grab the edge. And you'll want to do this gently just to make sure that this part doesn't get ripped or anything where you have your print. And then I'll show you what I meant by the bleed here in just a second, because you can really see it once I weed all of the backing away. Now you'll notice that for this part, I'm kind of pulling it like across. That's helped loosening it from like these little tiny corner pieces, because you don't want it to lift up too much or get messed up. So you just sort of go around. And this image is pretty simple, so it's not too bad as far as getting all of the backing paper off. Now I do have a spot right here where it's lifting, so I'm going to go back around and I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to come back around here to make sure that it doesn't lift. Now there is a spot between his legs that we will need to get out, and for that you can just use your pin pen, and a lot of times you can just kind of pull it and it'll come right out. So there we go. We've got our turkey ready. I'm going to go ahead and take this off the mat. And I'm just going to flip it off. Now this is StarCraft for Darks. So with this brand product, you actually remove this entire design off the backing. But before I do that, I just want to show you what the bleed does. There is an edge here around our image, and that's where it kind of pushes out that color so that you don't have it cut with any white space showing. Now we do want to remove our turkey from the backing of our paper, and I just do that by kind of fold my paper upside down. I put it face down, and then I just get it started in a spot, and I like to just use my finger, and I just get it started, and then you go very gently because you don't want to rip anything, and you work your way around the edge of your design. Now you can do this direction as well. It's truly up to you and whatever way works best for you, but I find that I use my hand and I just work my way around that edge, and then I get into the middle, and I just keep working my way all the way around the edge so that we don't rip anything. And we want to be especially careful with his legs because they're a little bit thinner. So I'm going to peel him back and his legs. Now when we get to the feet, that's where we're going to have we want to be real careful because we might have some issues. So I'm going to go ahead And I'm just gonna peel real gentle. And now we have our turkey that we can put on to our blank. So I'm gonna go ahead, get our blank ready, and then we can press our design. I have my press set to 350 degrees for 30 seconds. We're using a medium pressure, and then I do have a Teflon sheet here to help protect the heat plate from the design. Now I do want to just make sure the design is where I want it. I go about 3 fingers down from the collar, and then I center it with the collar, and then I just make sure it's straight to where I'm happy, and then all I have to do is simply press my design. Once it's done, simply lift up your press and your design is ready to go. I'm gonna let this cool off and I'll let you guys get a closer look at it. And just like that, our shirt is finished. You can see how bright and vibrant the colors are, and you can see there are no white edges, which is partially because my machine's pretty well calibrated, but also because we added that bleed, which is going to really compensate for any of those areas that might not have cut perfectly. Now, I do have a wash test that shows some of the StarCraft 4 darks, and I will link that down below, as well as a couple other helpful videos that I think will get you really going with your Cricut Joy Xtra. I absolutely love the Joy Xtra, and I think it's totally worth it for the price of this machine. If you have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. You can also find links for everything that we used here in this video, including the design. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting!